Welcome to the Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside
the grandest stage of them all, Wrestlemania.
I was wondering when you were going with that one. You can listen to us live every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, and now 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. It's good times. If you want to join the wrestling conversation, head over to the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/thepopcultures, as well as Discord channel, or you can email us. There's also popcultures.com/questions. Links are all in the description below. If you want to show the love of pop cultures on your body, head to popcultures.com/shop. We can buy shirts like this and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where we do streams about pay-per-view predictions, including Wrestlemania, including NXT TakeOver, and I want to give a big shout out right now to the lovely people over at New Legacy Inc. Who joined us during our WrestleMania stream yesterday at time of recording, and they brought 807 people with them.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Beyond amazing.
That was so cool.
It was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So yeah, we'll get to those streaming predictions very shortly after we tackle the usual Raw and SmackDowns. Before we do that, we ask the question: how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm well. I'm very well.
Good.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's excited. I'm excited. I'm getting that mania fever going.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I'm getting bit more excited like every day.
Yeah.
And a bunch of cool stuff happens this week as well on Raw and SmackDown to give you reasons to be excited. As I discussed before, I've got my Monday off.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go. Downside is kickoff show starts at 7 a.m. Australian time.
Damn.
With the main event starting at 9. So, because I'm a sucker, I'm going to watch that kickoff show. I got to get up early.
I'll be at work.
On a good note, though, if it's during the morning, because our little WrestleMania feast gets to eat breakfast foods.
Oh, yeah.
I like breakfast foods. I'm going to swing by Safeway or Coles on the Friday.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned both, no sponsors here. And then get all maybe some pancakes and some bacon. And I see what Craig wants.
Yeah.
Craig from Malt Show. He's joining me for the day.
Yay.
And I think Josh is swinging around at some point too.
Amazing.
He's got day off school.
Amazing.
He's school. He's like fucking 40. But he's got TAFE, so he's got day off. Should be swell. So you're at work?
I'm at work,
That's very uneventful.
I'll have to wait either till the afternoon or later.
Yeah, you've got like 8 hours to do.
Yeah.
So
I might have to break it up over
you'll be
days.
doing it over 2 days. Well, we'll work out when we will do our show, because with WrestleMania being so huge, we will have to record it a separate day, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Normally record on Thursday for context. We'll work it out. We'll talk it out. See how it goes. But as always, we kick the show off with Monday Night RAW.
I don't remember where it was.
I was in a play. It was in Washington.
There you go, Washington.
It's in Washington, D.C. And things kick off with Stephanie McMahon makes her way out into the arena, gets on stage, goes along the lines of, the match has changed. It's winner takes all, both belts, because as from last week, Charlotte Flair winning the SmackDown Women's Champion, and obviously Ronda bringing in the Raw Women's Champion belt. They've come in. She's gone. It's now winner takes all. And the fourth person's getting involved. It's me! Now I said, I was watching this with my son, so I was like vaguely in and out. So I'm playing with him, and then she goes, fourth person. I'm like, who?
What?
And she's like, me. I'm like,
oh, man.
April Fools. Hey.
Yeah.
Back to playing with my kid. But yeah.
Yeah, that was it. She's literally like, okay, take a joke. Winner takes all. Bye, guys. That's it. Short and sweet. I really appreciated that.
Not too shabby at
Exactly.
all. Yeah, nice and quick. So, like, I was genuinely concerned for a moment there. I'm like, get the fuck out. But my initial concerns were when she's like, it's now a 4-person match. I'm like,
Asuka?
Yeah, I was Asuka. I'm like, well, who are they throwing in? Like, don't tell me they're going to put Asuka in here as well.
Yeah. I was more like, I kind of knew she was April Fool's in because I obviously, watched the day, just breaking the place. I'd watched the thingamajiggy, so I was like, I'd read the date before I started watching it, so I was like, I know she's joking. But then I was like, kind of knew this. I was like, nah, kind of knew this would happen. Like the whole making it winner takes all. I was like, saw that coming.
Well, that's the thing that we were discussing last week with the idea of this unification of belts, or is it a winner takes all, or is it just sort of you get whichever the belt of the person you pin?
Yeah.
It was a weird setup. Now, this still does lead credence to the unified belt. Whether, whoever wins gets both and then it becomes one woman's belt. However, Dash has informed me that there are no talks of that happening at the moment. But, his good friend Vince McMahon does change his mind at any moment in time. So
true.
Dash is keeping his ear very close to the ground on that one, hearing any rumble that he can. But as of right now, there's no chance of unification, which is good.
Good. That's good.
Very good. Next up is Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They enter the ring.
Advocate Paul Heyman. So they obviously give their big old speech like, Seth Rollins, you're gonna lose. But same shit we've been hearing for the last month.
Yeah. But Brock was here, so
Brock was here.
But Brock was there. I'm like,
he showed up for work for once. Good on you, Brock.
He's rocked up a lot recently.
Yeah,
getting his contract
Wrestlemania
appearances in.
Yep, definitely. He's he just babbles on. Yep, just waffles on. And Seth comes out.
Yeah, so Paul Heyman's sitting there delivering his usual garbage about being the advocate. He's going to kill everyone. I think the exact words were, Brock Lesnar is going to violate Seth Rollins.
Was a bit concerned about that.
Is he going to wrestle him? Is he going to fuck him?
Yeah. Are there weird sex acts going on here? Because I'm pretty sure that can't be televised. I can just imagine
delivery now. Like, oh no, Brock Lesnar's nuzzling Seth's neck.
Yeah. Violating.
Oh, he's the champion of his universe, just saying.
But speaking of, as weird as it's going to sound, Seth comes out and delivers a very sort of heartfelt, I guess, I'm gonna beat you. Nobody wants you here. I don't want you here. The locker room doesn't want you here. The fans don't want you here. And then Paul Heyman disappears out of nowhere when Seth comes out because Paul Heyman's just like,
Paul Heyman's gone. He's out.
Poof.
He knows what's up.
And then Brock decides to just shove past Seth, and Seth's like, well, low blow.
Fucking dick kicks him. And I haven't seen a good old dick kick since Daniel Bryan's heel turn late last year. And I love a good dick kick. And
it was a good dick kick.
I watched it because I was watching this one at work on my lunch break on my phone. And I was like, Oh. It was I started it and then I watched that so sporadically.
Now he's getting violated.
And I'm like, I'm like, oh. I'm like, is that a dick kick?
That was
and then I rewind. That was a dick kick. And Brock, he got so dick. You can see there's a lot of struggling there. He was hurting. He blow his balls out. Yeah.
But so Seth obviously lays a bit of a smackdown. Brock gets a little throw thingy on him. Seth gets straight back up with the elbow in the dick.
There's they got an elbow dick and you got a kick dick.
Yep. And then
and then during this process there's a curb stomp.
Yep, the whole thing. And then Seth just leaves Brock rolling on the floor. Oh no, picks up the belt first. Seth
doesn't just leave. He grabs that belt, hangs it above his head, throws it back down at Brock.
Yeah. Solid. Absolutely solid.
This is bringing the excitement for Mania. Now, we'll get to our WrestleMania predictions towards the end of Raw and SmackDown. Probably a little bit after the dirt sheet too. But we'll finish the show with the predictions at least.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to make this interesting.
Yeah.
There's all these little cool things here.
Yeah.
That make me very, very excited. But in order to keep things mildly excited, once Seth Rollins leaves and Paul and Brock, dick in hand, wanders out of the ring, we get a confirmation that there is an 8 women's tag team match.
Yeah.
Now, my understanding here, if I remember right, was this a heel face v heel one?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So it was all the faces on one side, which is your Beth, your Natalya, your Sasha Banks, your Bayley, and the other corner, your Nia Jax, your Tamina, your Billie Kay, your Peyton Royce, the Iconics.
Just quickly, before that happened, Seth was chased down backstage for a quick interview.
Oh, yeah.
And Charlie was like,
I always forget these interview things.
Yeah. Charlie was like, you can't do that at Mania, right? You will get disqualified. And Seth's like, meh. He had it coming.
Yeah, it was
She's like, yeah, but you won't be champion. He's like, well, I'm not champion yet.
Yeah.
And then we go into this 8 tag. Yeah, so the 8 women tag match. Samoan Slaughterhouse Sisters, those jerks versus
dorks,
versus the 6 galahs wearing 2 pairs of boots, aka the Iconics. Versus the Boston Hug Connection and Beth Phoenix and Natalya. So Beth's first in-ring match in almost 7 years.
How did this make you feel?
I was stoked. Like I said, I've grown up watching Beth Phoenix. She was a huge part of my generation of wrestling. It was phenomenal because she always, back in the day, she was a bit of a bad girl. She was, you know, I don't know if anybody remembers Santino Marella, but she was very much like, you know, on his side, and he was a bit of a dickhead, like, let's be honest. But yeah, seeing her in this new light and being a fan favorite and a Hall of Famer now, and
the youngest woman,
yeah,
youngest at the time Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so it was super exciting. I was just like, I think starting the match was, Beth tried to start the match and she was tagged out by Sasha Banks, and I was just like, oh man, like, I just want to see Beth wrestle, like, let this happen. And eventually she does get in the ring, but yeah, during the whole kerfuffle, like, it starts out with Sasha and I believe Billy Kay. I can't remember. One of the Iconics, one of the Galahs. And somewhere during the match, like, Nia and Tamina just jump off the ring. Like, the other girls are tagging in and out, and they're, like, doing their thing. Well, not, you know, friendly. They're, like, tagging each other in and out. And it's literally the Iconics versus Sasha, Bailey, Beth, and Natalya. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, they have no chance in hell, let's be honest. And at some point, Tamina interferes.
Causing the end of the match.
Yeah, causing the end of the match. Yeah. It ended up in chaos. Like,
yeah, it was just
it just ended up in a bitch brawl.
It just ended in the end. In this big old fist fight. It was just chaos everywhere.
So, yeah, I think, like, Tamina grabbed Beth's leg and Beth got pissed. And she, like, full speared her and smashed down, like, a barrier. They're, like, laying there for ages. And Beth got back in the ring. Peyton Royce tried to grab her in and, like, obviously try and capitalize on her, like, taking herself out with Tamina. And yeah, she ended up getting a glam slam, which is, like, the coolest move ever.
It's
and,
a dope move.
It's such a dope move. And Peyton screaming made it all that much better. Like, just that squeal right before she was bam. Like, loved it.
That solid peak. Look at that solid peak on
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to. Got a bit excited. I was like, oh, Beth Phoenix slam. So, yeah, glam slam for the pin and the win, obviously. And then,
well, didn't they? Is there still a pin?
Yeah, it was still a pin. Yeah, no, it wasn't interference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right, she was still technically in the match. So
beautiful. Very cool. Very cool.
She was just off to the side. Obviously, her and Nia are lazy.
So, yeah. What do you think of the match overall?
I really wasn't interested initially. I was like, oh, like, here we go. This is just, like, I guess, a warm-up match for Mania. But after, like, seeing Beth Phoenix just dominate and everybody chanting, you still got it, I was just like, oh, this is going to be good.
I thought it was a hot mess. I didn't like it.
No.
Well, for me, it was because knowing that this is the exact same people we're seeing at Mania, I'm like, why do they have to showcase the same match before WrestleMania? And they've done the same on SmackDown as well. It's a fucking shame. And it's just boring. Yeah. If anything, like, I was already middling excitement going into Mania for this match. And now on top of it, I actually care even less.
That's fair. I think I'm just excited because I really like Beth Phoenix and Natalya.
They're sufficient.
I am a big fan of the Iconics, and, like, I feel like because of how prominent the Iconics have been these past couple of weeks, I'm really starting to feel like they're in it to win it. I can really see them walking out with those titles.
Very cool.
And that would be really frigging exciting.
We'll get to that.
Even if they do just walk at us and it hurts.
Next up, we get a bit more of the Batista. Now, in terms of what's going down here for those that may be joining as new, Batista and Triple H are taking each other on in a no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania. This under the stipulation that if Triple H loses, his in-ring career is done.
D-O-N-E done.
So now these two, they've not actually been in a ring compared to, like, everyone else in the fucking card, apparently. They have not been in the ring ahead of their Mania match, so they're keeping them very separated, which I'm digging a lot.
Yeah,
personally.
That really, really builds up the tension. I just want to see them brawl.
It does indeed. What are some of the things Batista came out and talked about?
He literally just said, Hunter, kiss my ass.
That he did.
Mic drop, left. Everybody loved it. People
great.
going fucking wild. Everybody's like, yeah!
Who's your ass?
But you saw! That was it. I was like, short and sweet.
Yeah.
Effective. Good job.
Yeah, and then we cut to a video package from Elias outside MetLife Stadium ahead of WrestleMania. You can be all promo talking about just him being a musical act. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
We
Thanks,
get it.
Elias. Next, we get a really fucking weird match of Jinder Mahal versus Apollo Crews. It is a lumberjack match with a remainder of the, I believe, the Raw Battle Royal men competitors. So those are competing in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. That's right. Didn't have to forget about it this time. I remembered what it was called.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just around the ring doing nothing. This was an absolute nothing match. It was, I guarantee it was there to completely fill time.
Yeah, it was a joke. It ended up in an all-out brawl. So, like, Apollo Crews, obviously, he did the wins. I can't remember what he did for the wins. He
did an Apollo Crews move.
He did a thing. And, yeah, they bring up the Andre the Giant, the memorial
trophy.
Trophy is the word. I was going to statue, trophy.
So they had it sitting on the apron.
Yep,
so one by one,
photos,
they all kind of came up and were like, oh, this is mine.
Pushing each other out of the
like,
way.
oh, no, this is mine. And then it became a big old fucking
all that brawl. You see the staff run up and grab the thing off the ring before it falls and breaks, and it just turns into a massive shit fight, and that's it.
But yeah, so that was no absolute waste of time. Like that, what it fucking like. I understand it's showcasing the Battle Royal, which is in the kickoff show. So for that reason, it makes sense for them to people want. They're like, hey, it's happening. It's gonna be cool. There's a lot of people, a lot of bodies in there. You're gonna see something similar to this. Yeah. It's just just didn't do it for me, man. Like apart from the likes of like Heavy Machinery and stuff like that, there's no one in that I gave a shit about. Like the Ascension were there. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
And it was made to look very much like at the end of it, Apollo Crews was the last man standing. It was like, it's my time now, and I was like, yeah, but is it? Like,
is it really?
Is it? Competitors, like. I don't know how you'd fare against
like Apollo Crews has done well in his last times up on in ring and in Raw and recently.
He's a phenomenal athlete. Like he is, he really is. But
aside from taking the loss to Kurt Angle, he has had moments. He's taken on Baron Corbin and won, and he's doing all right. Like he's there.
I don't know how he'd go against Braun Strowman though.
Yeah. I don't know how he's going to go against the SNL guys.
Next,
we get Kurt Angle coming in to do his big farewell speech. Now, it was originally scheduled for him to take on Rey Mysterio. We'll get to that shortly.
Yeah.
So he comes out and he does this sort of nice, once again, heartfelt message to the crowd. Sort of a big old thank you. And then they're like, we're going to, here's a video showcase.
Everybody please pay attention to the Titantron.
I'm a fucking mess on my couch.
Yeah, while we I think commemorate like
the career of Kurt
Angle. Yeah, so this beautiful video package. I cried. You probably cried. You cried.
I certainly cried.
Everybody cried. We were all crying. And
then Kurt was crying. Yeah, and they cut back and he's having a tough time.
And I was even more crying because he was crying because I'm a sympathy crier. Yeah. And then, of course, immediately he gets interrupted by Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin being the dick box that he is, he came out and was like, you're fucking about 10 years too late, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
And he's like, I'm sick and tired of you, and I'm sick and tired of the crowd saying that you deserve a better opponent. And everybody's like, yes, he does.
And then there was John Cena chance.
Yeah, Cena. Straight after, Baron Corbin's like, me, I'm Baron Corbin, I'm gonna do this match. And Kurt's just like, well, fine, if that's the way you want it to be. Why don't you and I have an exhibition match right now and you can prove yourself? And he's like, no, what, right now? Okay. And he starts walking down and he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. You talk about the 3 eyes, but you're clearly not intelligent. If you were intelligent, you wouldn't let me like ruin you before WrestleMania. And Rey Mysterio comes out.
Yeah, so Rey Mysterio runs out and be like, no, I'm sick of all this shit. Hey, Kurt, take a seat. I got this.
Yeah, so Kurt's like, as he's coming out, Baron Corbin's like walking away and he's like, oh shit. And he runs back into the ring and Rey's like, fine, if you don't want to fight Kurt, fight me.
Yep.
Why not? You, me, right now. And it ends up in a bit of fisticuffs and
Kurt gets a couple punches.
Yeah, a few cheap shots thrown around. Ultimately, obviously, Kurt and Rey are standing tall. There's this beautiful little hug. I'm like, me. And then we cut to a Charlotte Flair promo. Obviously talking about making history and just about their match.
The usual, I'm going to punch everyone in the ring because I'm the queen. I was born to do this because I'm really fucking cool and I have a big jacket. And she said none of these things.
Yeah.
She's like, and I got the belt now and matches my jacket. Yeah. I'm accessorizing like a motherfucker. And I'm Charlotte Flair.
And then the obligatory, woo! and a wink at the camera, which is pretty hot.
It was pretty cool. She's like, look at my gown, it's blue, and I was like, yeah. Well done.
I love it. Anyway, after this we have a Raw Tag Team title match.
Yes. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
So it was Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the Revival for the Raw SmackDown. I always say that every time. The Raw Tag Team Championship, which solidifies two things. That bitch ain't at Mania.
Yeah.
But it's not on me. Yeah, that's not happening. It's a weird thing to have this set up prior to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And also on a random ass Monday.
Yeah.
Not a random ass Monday.
And it's wild because I don't know if anybody watches NXT, but Ricochet and Aleister Black had won the...
They won the Dusty Rhodes Classic. So they're off to the NXT takeover in New York.
Yeah.
So they'll be taking on the War Raiders for the NXT tag team belts. Yeah. So there's a lot of speculation here. I'm like, can they hold NXT belts? And Raw belts. Spoilers, they don't win the Raw belts. Can they hold the SmackDown belts?
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely wild. Like, those guys are getting thrown championship opportunities, and I am 100% for it.
Oh, without a doubt. Like, unquestionable.
They have earned it every single night. Raw, SmackDown, NXT.
Even just doing 3 nights a week.
Yeah, they're just absolutely killing it.
Now, granted, we also know that NXT is taped, it's not live, but you get the point.
Yeah, who cares? But yeah, they're absolutely killing it. But unfortunately, they do end up getting counted out and the Revival win. What happens is, I believe Ricochet was about to get into the ring at the last minute. It was like an 8 count. And somebody pops under the ring and grabs his leg and stops him from getting in.
During...
That was good.
Yeah, so during this big kerfuffle, we had Chops, which is, I believe...
That's
Scott Dawson was under the ring while Dash Wilder was up. So as Aleister gets up, ankle... wait?
It was Ricochet getting in the ring.
I'm
pretty sure.
Someone was getting in... I watched this fucking 2 days ago, I don't remember. And I've streamed 7 hours in that time. So during this kerfuffle, as someone's trying to make their way into the ring, ankle grabbed, yanked it, kept them from getting out. 1, 2... 10.
Yeah, 10
they're not allowed
you're
in
counted
anymore.
out. Yeah.
That's the good.
Not even
interesting outcome, because once again, Ricochet and Aleister still haven't lost.
I will give Dash and Dawson credit there. Like, they can do some crazy shit. They can do some, like, sliding under the ring. I never would have thought of that. That was like quality right there. Yeah. But in saying that, like, during the match, Ricochet got this really rad friggin' double hurricanrana thing on them, and I was like, damn, that man can spread his legs. But yeah, obviously, like, Black and Ricochet were pierced, so they go on the attack. There's like a shit ton of black masses thrown around, and then Ricochet gets to 630, and they're just like, we're the better competitors. We're
going to do the winning.
In the background, you see Dawson like with a referee getting his arm held up. Like, I'm still a champion. Like, here's my belt. It was like off in the corner. I just noticed it. I was like,
it's a weird spot for me. Like I said, I understand what they're doing, and like the card's long enough as it is at Mania, so why not give it to them now? That's fine. It's at least they're giving them a shot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which they have clearly very honestly earned.
Yeah, that's certainly true, and like I do like that Aleister and Ricochet have been given shots literally everywhere because they are great.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Bums me about the Revival. Now, another thing, Dash had given me some things in my ears because at a Apparent House show, there was a moment where Dash and I think it may have been Dash Wild, not our Dash, a different Dash, and Scott Dawson walked up to a kid in the crowd who was wearing an AEW shirt.
Yeah, I did.
And said to them, we'll see you in
May.
May.
See you in May. Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
that was
are they just being dirty?
Yeah.
Our Dash. He didn't tell me what. He just said, look, these are the dates. This is what's going around.
This is what
I don't know what it means. This is what I've heard.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, interesting match. I like the outcome of the outcome. It makes me happy. They still haven't lost by pin. They still haven't lost by pin or submission.
Yeah, they haven't lost genuinely.
Yes, they haven't lost. And Revival's still staying strong, which is good. I like, and I'm really. Although it's one of those moments I'm sick of seeing this happening. I'm sick of seeing these pair, like these two teams on. Again, so if I was to see them at Mania, I'd be pretty bummed about it. But it's a good outcome.
Yeah, definitely. So next we have Charlie trying to interview Ronda Rousey. She's like, I don't want to talk, Charlie. I just want to fight.
Notice, she's like, I want to fight. I want to talk. I'm going to talk to you for the next 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. She's like pretending to throw punches and she's like, I'm going to beat these girls' heads in. If they provoke me, I'm going to beat them. Like, I don't care. And immediately I was like, either Ronda's going to snap and lose the match or they're going to win the match and Ronda's going to snap and beat up somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I knew straight away she was going to be the trigger.
Because we did have confirmation. Oh, it's actually the next up.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yeah. So, and then we see Alexa Bliss with EC3 and some other dudes. I don't know who he was. He was wearing like a green and purple jacket. I don't know, blonde hair. I probably should have Googled him, but I didn't. I was just like, I don't know who this guy is. But they're talking about the SNL guys, and Alexa Bliss is like, hey guys, like that's all cool and all, but like what about me? And I'm hosting WrestleMania and I'm doing all this cool stuff. And they start talking about the Sunday Report or whatever it is that Che and Jost do. And Braun Strowman walks up and EC3 and this other dude just shit themselves. And they're like, oh, it was those guys over there. They were watching that thing. And Braun's like, really? And storms over and he's looking at this guy's iPad. Just two random dudes, like, that kind of look like Michael Che and Colin Jost. And
one's black and one white.
That's exactly it. I didn't want to go there, but there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's like, oh, so that's what happened. Well, you're Michael Che and you're Colin Jost and you better meet me in the ring to get these hands or I'm going to chase you down and, you know, I will find you. And so, yeah, that ends up being a thing later on.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, that's going to be a match, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. So, yeah. But shortly after this, we do see Roman Reigns getting interviewed, asking if he is ready for singles competition. There has been some rumors floating around that maybe he's not. And he's like, well, yeah, I am. And then Drew McIntyre out of nowhere just comes beating into him. You should have said no, Roman. Like, just getting all Drew McIntyre and beating the crap out of him, and they finally like take him away, and you see Roman sort of slowly make his way to his feet, clearly a bit beat. And this leads into our next match, which
is the Riot Squad versus Ronda, Becky, and Flair. This is a tag team match, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. This is not a all-in brawl or anything like that. So under the stipulation that if either Ronda, Becky, or Charlotte touch each other in a non-tagging fashion,
so if
they lose their spot.
Yeah. If anybody jeopardizes anything, if they betray their teammates, they lose their WrestleMania opportunity.
Exactly. So they're getting up in there's a lot of getting up in each other's faces, a lot of really hard tags. It's pretty brutal. The Riot Squad are there.
Yeah.
That's even the cameras are focusing more on the main eventers because they're like, the Riot Squad. Alright, fuck it. Let's look over here. So they're focusing primarily on the Ronda, the Becky, and the Charlotte, which makes total sense because I was doing the same thing. Every time they showed a wide shot, I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I was immediately like, who's Ronda gonna punch? Like I said before, Ronnie's like a loose cannon. I was like, who's she gonna hit? Who's she gonna hit?
Yeah,
and I was waiting for it.
There was a lot of matchy related things. You know, as Charlotte started first.
Yeah, I believe Charlotte started the match while Becky and Ronda were getting in each other's face. Charlotte's just standing there away from them, like, go do that somewhere else. I've got a match to do.
Yep. So Charlotte gets involved.
She's a professional, like she said earlier.
So Charlotte gets involved, does a bit of the old scuffling. Then Becky tags herself in, leaving Ronda and Charlotte on the outside. Becky gets kind of pounded a little bit.
Yeah.
And what I love...
She's been there for the most time.
It was very interesting to watch this tag match compared to most tag matches. Whenever the other competitors get a little bit worse for wear in the ring, the other people are like, come on. Ronda and Charlotte
Ronda didn't even have a hand on the tag rope.
Zero shits.
Like,
absolutely zero shits.
Charlotte was like faking tag. She's like, come on. And I was like, oh damn, this is great. And Becky's just not having it. She's like, I can fight on my own. I don't need you to.
Yeah. But it's just weird. Like it threw a spanner in what I'm used to seeing for these tag matches.
Yeah, Charlotte finally gets a tag in and immediately Ronda like smacks her in the chest to like tag out. And then 2 seconds, armbar on Liv Morgan. She taps like immediately. It's not even properly locked in. Like
it's my favorite part of this because spoilers. Armbar, Liv Morgan taps in 4 seconds. Ding, ding, ding. Within I bet
a millisecond.
Not even like fucking like 0.5 of a second, Charlotte is punched directly in the throat by Ronda. Ronda just gets up and just punches her.
I knew the first thing her to do when the bell went was Ronda would punch somebody.
Yeah.
I saw it coming from a mile away.
Now you've got a play-by-play here, so I'm going to sit back and I'm going to let you play-by-play this bad boy.
So let's see. We have... So she attacks and a massive brawl ensues ensues. So like everybody's punching everybody. Security comes out. They start punching security. Cops come in. Cops are like pulling each other away from each other. I believe it's Ronda breaks free first, pushes through the cop. She knocks a cop down to try and get a Becky in the corner. Charlotte's already out of the ring like, nope. And she's just watching this all happen. So Ronda gets cuffed. Ronda gets cuffed because she has, she's attacked a cop.
Yeah, so while Ronda does, only because there's secret stuff there. So while Ronda is nice getting cuffed in the corner, Becky's getting up in her shit. Yeah. And then that takes advantage of Ronda being all cuffed.
Does a big old
bus.
She gets arrested too.
Then they pretend to just kick each other a little bit while being cuffed.
Yeah, they're trying to kick at each other. But keep in mind, once they finally start cuffing Becky, she's in the corner and she's like, again? It was so good.
So as they're being escorted out of the ring, Charlotte's in the corner, and then you see Ronda be like, next thing Charlotte's like, Badoos!
Yeah, Ronda and
she
Becky
just
yelling at
elbows
Ronda
directly in the face. And then it's like,
so
scuffle.
And then she gets
cuffed.
arrested.
And then everyone's just kicking each other.
There's kicks flying and they're trying to shake the cuffs off and don't touch me,
they're getting pulled up the back. I believe the order, in fact, was Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky sort of all getting scuffled. Ronda is just taking no.
Yeah, she was like trying to kick cops' legs out, and then you see Charlotte stomping on feet, and Becky's just shaking
the radio's getting kicked off people.
Becky just boots the radio away, and then they finally get them backstage, and
so we get to the sort of the backstage, vehicle into exit sort of space. If you got a cop car and it looks like an unmarked cop car.
Yep. So plain cop car in front, unmarked cop car at the back. For some dumb reason, they put Becky and Ronda in the same car, and they just sort of like sit there peacefully for 2 seconds
and start doing each other.
And they just start kicking each other. Ronda kicks the window out, and they finally pull Becky out, and Ronda's like all over the floor, and she gets out, and Charlotte starts kicking at her, and she starts kicking back, and they try to pull them apart.
So while Becky and Ronda Becky and Charlotte kicking, they kick fast, and they eat my boot, you big weirdo. Kick. Next thing you hear this, woo, and this car just and the car because somehow they just left
Ronda's
Ronda
like slipped into the front
unattended.
seat.
She's in the driver's seat. She pumps the accelerator, rails the car into the back of the cop car. Everyone's like, oh fuck,
like, get her out.
Remembers that she's in the car. They're like, oh fuck, hang on. They turn around, push. Okay, they
put
get her.
Becky in the front car. They got Charlotte trying to get her. Oh no, because Charlotte was put in the front car. When Becky comes out, Charlotte jumps out, like because they're gonna put Becky in Charlotte's car. Charlotte jumps out and they're kicking away, and then the little accident happens.
So during this, they're getting Ronda from the front seat to the back seat. So Ronda's got her head through the door, yelling shit out the window.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. They get Becky in the back of the cruiser.
Yep.
And then during this, like cuts back to Ronda. Blah, blah. Next thing,
Charlotte's escaped from her freaking cops.
I've seen it referred to as the Queen trigger.
Love
Same as the V trigger for like Kenny Omega. It's this big fucking knee boost in the side of the face.
Smacks Ronda out this broken window.
Her face just smushes into the door frame.
This is great.
Then they woo, and the cars scoot off, leaving everyone but Charlotte. Charlotte's is there,
getting held back.
I guess
she's not waiting for another car. Yeah. It was absolutely.
It was
chaos.
about as much chaos as like us was like layering shit on top of it.
It's exactly how it was. It was
brilliant.
It was absolute gold. And like even Michael Cole was like, in 23 years of doing this, I have never seen anything like that. He's like, I've seen some shit in my time, but I ain't seen that shit in my time.
It was absolutely amazing. I watched it. So that part I did watch back again here at home. I watched. I was like, this is just brilliant. And then
phenomenal.
It was about 3 minutes later. Then Dylan came home, and I'm like, Dill, you
have to watch this
shit. So I rewound it, and then we watched it again. He's like, is she gonna get in the front? No, she's in the front of the car. I'm like, is she gonna drive the car?
Yeah, as soon as she was laying in the center console, and it's like,
she's gonna take that car.
She's gonna slip in there, and she's just gonna do something. It was like, it was just.
That was brilliant.
It was exciting. It was very exciting. I was just. Ugh.
Everything, like, depending on the rest of this episode, we'll get to in shortly, but like this is the defining moment of me for this week. This is the defining moment of the road to WrestleMania for me.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted to see. It showed all of the three main eventers being fucking vicious.
How passionate they are about this, how passionately aggressive they are towards each other. It's gonna be one hell of a main event.
Once we hear that ding ding ding, I'm gonna probably pee my pants at WrestleMania. It's gonna
be on like Donkey Kong.
It's gonna be brilliant.
I am so excited. It is gonna be the best headline ever.
Heads up, everything after this pretty average.
Yeah, so next we do get the glorious Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus Heavy Machinery, which I was excited. I do love some Heavy Machinery.
It's been a while since we've seen Otis and Tucker, so I'm glad to have them back.
Quite excited. Interruption by Lacey Evans, because Lacey Evans... we
yawned at her name.
Like,
you said her name and I yawned.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. So I did hear the commentator say that apparently Otis and Gable used to train together.
Ooh.
Fun fact. I don't know why I noted that down, but I did. Anyway.
They did say that though.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it ends with a caterpillar and a compactor, I believe, on...
Correct.
Yeah, Gable, I
think? No, it was on Bobby.
It was on Bobby Roode. And Bobby Roode. Yeah, for the win, which I was like stoked about. I was like, yay, Heavy Machinery, taking the win again.
Very excited.
I love the compactor. It looks so painful, but it looks so cool. And who doesn't love the caterpillar?
Like, just give me more caterpillar all the time.
Everybody loves a bit of Otis and Tucker. After this, we get that weird Braun Strowman versus those two random dudes.
As I've written here, Braun versus some fucks.
Yeah. It's a bit ridiculous. He does that like running around the ring thing twice, and then he like double shoulders them.
It's a lot of hip and shoulder, Like, these guys had nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
No chance. He just plowed through them.
It was a big old squash on Braun on two random dudes.
Yeah.
Which isn't that intimidating, to be honest. Yeah. Like, anyone can punch random dudes.
He's sending a message to Michael Che and Colin Jost, though.
Apparently.
Yeah, but I did love like he got both of them up on his shoulders for a big old slam.
Yeah, big old power slam.
Yeah, good. that was really cool.
Next we get the entrance of the current Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley and his annoying child Leo Rush to come in to spruik to talk about their Intercontinental Championship and how technically last week it was the pin on Jinder Mahal.
Yeah,
as of right
now, they make valid points. Finn hasn't actually pinned Bobby Lashley.
That's true, because every time they've competed, Leo Rush took the pins.
Yeah.
Then we've got Jinder Mahal taking pins.
Yeah.
Like
Obviously, Bobby pissed at Jinder last week because of it.
Yeah. So as of right now, Bobby still hasn't been taken down by Finn Balor. And then we get Finn on the Titantron on the screen, sort of talking about, hey, I'm gonna kick your face in.
Yeah. Bobby said something before Finn popped up that made me trigger and think, ooh. And Bobby's like, Finn has demons and the demon has Finn, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, that's right, because Charlie says, Bobby, how do you respond to the rumors that we may be seeing that Finn Balor may be channeling the demon ahead of your match at WrestleMania? And he says, look, the demon is Finn Balor. Finn Balor is the demon. I've beaten Finn Balor, therefore I can beat the fucking demon.
Yeah. And then we do see Finn on the screen, and it's like, yes, I do have demons.
And you're about to see those demons. And then we cut to
Semen
demons. Then when we cut to the Demon King, and he's doing this like kiss Gene Simmons tongue thing.
Yeah.
This is so conflicting to me.
Yeah.
As I said, although look, I'll admit that my prediction that I had ahead of WrestleMania, the Demon King Phenom casket match, not going to happen.
No,
because there was about.
But I suppose
there was about 4 times too much specific information. Like,
yeah.
I added way too much detail on that to make that a real prediction. But
title match.
It's such a weight because the demon. So the thing is, the demon has never lost.
Yes,
he's won every time, and like he won against Baron Corbin at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. He won against who was it against a while back? Oh, so he won against Seth Rollins at the inaugural Universal Championship match, because Finn Balor is the first ever Universal Champion.
Oh, there you go.
So like there is that.
Yes.
So he has used the demon a number of times to get that win, to help give him that edge over by unleashing his inner self. He's been able to get the energy required to get that over the line. However, I truly don't think that Finn Balor needs the assistance of the Demon King to get the win on Bobby Lashley. It's fucking Bobby Lashley.
Well, for me, I haven't seen the demon yet, so I'm quite excited to see how this goes down. I'm very, very interested. I think I can understand where it's coming from. Obviously, WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, he wants to guarantee a win, which is like, sure, it's a waste on Bobby Lashley, but at the same time, is it? Because it's essentially guaranteeing him the upper hand.
But it's a
on the
fucking
grandest
mid-card
stage.
belt, man. This is the same person that used literally it's like.
But it is his belt.
The reason that Finn uses it very infrequently, because he says like he does lose a little part of himself every time he becomes the demon, and every time he unleashes the demon. So like by doing it for this fucking waste of a mid-card belt, but then again he used it against Baron Corbin, and granted he had used it to get the Universal Champion. So aside from Baron Corbin, which is very much of a low, like using it on the UC makes sense, right? But like I said, in order to get the win on the grandest stage, that's part of it. But it just doesn't seem necessary. I want to see the Demon King. I'm a big fan of the Demon King. Look, there is literally one figure there. There is another figure over there. I have like 4 fucking Finn Balor shirts, all of the King. And I love the Demon King. Yeah. And that, for that reason, is why I think this is a poor use. Now, I understand, Finn. Get the win when you can. I got no complaints about that. It's just, you should have used it at Rumble. Yeah. Put it on Brock.
Yeah,
I agree.
Better use. But no, I'm excited to see it. Leo Rush did look very scared. Bobby Lashley just stared at the screen a bunch. Yeah, but Bobby Lashley, Leo Rush did look like genuinely petrified, which I was like, ha ha, you little scaredy cat.
You little weirdo.
Yeah, you little weirdo. After this, we have Rey Mysterio, our final match of the night, versus Baron Corbin. It is made official during the night that they would have a match. It's Rey Mysterio's first match on Raw in 5 years.
Yeah, he's been off at the SmackDowns for a while.
Yeah, he's been in SmackDown for a long time.
I actually did take some time off as well, so there was that.
I did have a laugh, though. At one stage, Baron Corbin gets thrown out of the ring or something by Rey Mysterio, and you hear a kid in the background laugh like Nelson Muntz. He's like, ha ha! I was like, that's exactly what Baron Corbin deserves. Like, that was great. But yeah, Corbin, at one point, like, big kerfuffle. Obviously, Baron's got height over Rey's small agility. Baron is pretty speedy for a tall dude, so it's a pretty good competition there. But at one point, Baron Corbin, being the piece of shit that Baron Corbin is, starts to try and rip Rey's mask off.
Yeah, and luckily, Dirty Randy.
Yeah, so luckily the referee's like, no, you don't. At one point, like, Rey injures his leg and Baron Corbin starts to capitalize on it. And eventually, like, Corbin gets a deep 6, I think it's called, for the pin to win.
Oh wait, wasn't an end of days? Was it by submission?
No, I think it was like I think it was called a deep 6. I don't know if it was the end of days.
That sounds hot.
I don't know. I had the word deep 6. It might have been the end of days. I'm not sure.
Maybe that's what you were thinking. You just like
deep 6. I heard the word deep 6.
Get a good deep 6 from Baron Corbin.
He did. So Corbin basically dominates the entire match. Yeah. Like he's a stronger dude than Rey, unfortunately. But
the real concern out of this match is he injured? Like
yes,
because he is taking on Samoa Joe.
At Mania. In saying that, like, towards the end of the match, he did get back up and he was running okay on that leg. So I feel like if it is an injury, it is an injury that will heal in the next couple of days. I feel like, chuck your feet up, ice it, you'll be okay, Rey. Yeah. Like, I think he's definitely going to be fine for Mania.
Because there were, like...
Because it was concerns for his knee and ankle.
Yeah, it's true. There were a number of people ringside making sure it was okay to compete the match. Like, Baron did kind of whip him into the barriers a good handful of times.
Yeah.
There was a lot of...
he did target that knee really bad.
Which is that weird line. Cause,
another one of those random fuck your knee stomps.
As a competitor, like, Baron's made the right decision here. Like, for this match, he's like... For him, he doesn't give 2 fucks about how Rey Mysterio needs to perform at Mania in a couple of days.
Exactly.
He don't fucking care.
It's him going in with the win, which gives him the upper hand over Kurt Angle.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously Kurt Angle didn't wrestle this week. He doesn't have, Baron Corbin is the fresher winner. So, but in saying that, as Corbin's leaving, Kurt Angle does show up. And layeth the beateth down and gets him in a big old tight angle lock, to which Baron Corbin's smashing the stage, like tapping out and like
that means shit, man.
Yeah, they're like, it's not gonna do anything. Like, don't tap. There's no point. And officials are like, let him go. And Kurt Angle's just like, da da, you suck, as he walks out and the screen fades to black.
And that brings us to this week's episode of Raw. What do you think?
It was so hit and miss. if I'm being generous, I'd give it half a Kurt Angle.
I'm in the same boat. Like that half is solely.
It's entirely the arrests.
The arrest. Everything else was absolute butt, except for maybe the dick kicks and dick punches. Like heading into WrestleMania, aside from that one key moment, it was a fucking dumpster fire of a show.
It was a hot mess. Obviously, they've got to keep the juiciest stuff, I guess, for WrestleMania. You don't want to have your main eventers and stuff like that injured coming into the grandest stage of them all. So they do have to try and keep them tame. And there is a lot of officials pulling people back, and I get that, but yeah, it was a bit of a clusterfuck. It was a bit of a dumpster fire. There was a lot going on with not a lot of context either. Like, it was just kind of thrown together. Like
the Braun Strowman thing, fucking stupid.
The lumberjack match, like out of nowhere, it's just like, it's not even announced. We're just gonna throw a Apollo.
Yeah, who cares about Jinder and Apollo? Literally no care. Like the Kurt Angle speech and the video package, big fan.
Beautiful, yeah. Oh, look, you know what? I'll give it a 1 thumb just because I cried for Kurt Angle.
Yeah, look, I'll upgrade. Look,
I'll give it an entire Kurt.
I agree. I'll give it a 1, 2.
Yeah.
And half a thumb for the arresting, half a thumb for Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
the rest
definitely.
can eat my dick.
Yeah.
What did you think of this week's episode of Raw? Let us know in those comments below in the Discord channel or the Facebook group. All links are in the description. So that does bring us to SmackDown Live. This one took place on the 2nd of April in Baltimore. It kicks things off with the Kevin Owens show with Randy Orton and AJ Styles. So the whole idea here for Kevin is to instigate fights, as he does.
Yeah. Fight Owens fight.
This was more of a setup with Randy Orton's involvement in last week's match against Kurt Angle with AJ. So the idea of like, hey,
are you proud of that?
Do you proud of that? Do you feel guilty about doing that? And there's like, nah, I fucking enjoyed it. It was good.
Yep.
I did it, whatever. And then it became a to and fro between Randy and AJ about...
AJ pulling out the low blows with the...
Yeah, it's about the indie scenes and, I've been in WWE while you've been off in the indie scenes. Like, yeah, you've been failing drug tests, piece of shit.
Yeah, low blows.
Sort of
Randy bounced back from that really well, though.
Yeah.
He really bounced back from that.
There's a poor delivery, but the idea of, this entire time you've been here, you've learned one move, knowing to be the RKO.
It's okay. I think it might have been Corey Graves that said it. He's like, you only need one move. Like, with a move that deadly, you only need one.
No, yeah. So, Randy said the exact same thing. So, that is true. The RKO is a demolisher. Yeah. And it can take you anywhere. It can take anyone literally from anywhere and monster.
Yeah, it's literally out of nowhere. Like, you could be jumping through the sky and Randy's there. You could be taking a dump and Randy's there.
During this kerfuffle, it did get into fisticuffs.
KO gets up and runs out, and that's a fight.
Yeah, what was great is during this delivery, I think it may have been the drug thing, because Kevin just kind of just goes, okay, and then
up and out.
He knows what's going. He's like, my job here is done. Gets up, scoots out of the ring, takes the time away. Yeah. So a bit of punchies. AJ gets his face wrecked into the table a couple times. Then
ends up outside
the ring. Gets ready to do a phenomenal forearm during the jump up. Boom, RKO, and he's
out
fucking
of nowhere,
dead.
Planted, completely just starfished out.
AJ is dead. Next,
you see why I love Randy? He's solid.
Yeah,
handsome.
That dirty Randy. Next up, we get an 8-man tag team match with Aleister Black, Ricochet versus the Usos with The Bar versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev.
Before that, we do see a little cut to the backstage. They're obviously talking about tonight.
That's right. Yes, with Kofi holding the contract for the
the New Day wearing monocles and glasses and quills and stuff, and they're trying to do maths, and those guys get me. I love the New Day.
Forgot about that. So this is the 8-man tag, essentially once again a heel versus face match. So it is a fatal 4-way tag team match. That's pretty much where it was at.
Yeah, Aleister Black, Ricochet, and the Usos versus The Bar, Shinsuke, and Rusev.
Yeah, so it's pretty much anyone of note for the tag teams aside from the Hardys. It's a big old shame. It was enough. It was an adequate match. Yeah. It was fine.
Usos get the win.
Usos get a win with a double super kick on Rusev's face.
Yep, the second one. They did one earlier before. And then Alexa Bliss comes out, and she she interrupts all their winning celebrations, and she's like, look, what the Usos did last week when they forfeited the match for Kofi Kingston, it was honorable. It was, very noble of them, but there are consequences to doing things like that. Because you didn't do that match, you will now be defending your titles at WrestleMania against all the teams you just were involved with. I agree.
Big old thumbs down and...
Yeah. Go back to Raw, Alexa
What
Bliss.
the actual... No, nothing wrong with Alexa Bliss here. She came out, she's doing her job, delivering what it's going to be.
Like she's a manager when she's just the host of WrestleMania.
Saying that, my concern here is A, we just fucking saw this.
Yeah. 2,
where is the Usos versus the
Hardy
Hardys?
Boys?
I wanted Usos v Hardys, ladder match,
right.
SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Maybe, what's the next pay-per-view?
What, Money in the Bank?
Yeah, is it? Maybe.
Well, normally it's Backlash or Extreme Rules, but apparently they're dicking with the order this year.
Yeah.
So I think.
Well, maybe it could be like maybe the Hardys and somebody else versus to get a contract out of the thingy for whoever they want to verse for the tag team titles. Like, who knows? But I feel like
opportunity match.
Yeah, I feel like eventually down the track it'll lead to the Hardy Boys going for the titles. I just don't think it's time for them just yet.
I disagree. Like, we've had Matt come out of nowhere. The rumor mill was that Matt was gone. Matt was done and he had retired, and he shows up on a random Tuesday, and it was really exciting. He's rocking his old gear. It's the return of Big Money Matt.
Yeah.
And
V1.
And it's almost like they did it for the pop, and they're like, well, that was it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Like, I would love to see them do some more. But yeah, who knows? Like, but after this, obviously, it breaks into a massive all-out brawl. Everybody's fighting everybody, kicking everybody, punching everybody. And as always, Aleister Black and Ricochet are the last men standing. And I was like, oh, damn, they're going to win some belts at Mania.
Yeah, are we going to see them walk out with the NXT belts and then take the Smack? Are we going to see more double champs?
That would be
all the double champs.
All of the cross branding, like, give it to me.
Speaking of, there is a fuck ton of cross branding going on right now. Everyone is just getting up each other's business. Now,
and I'm loving it.
Once again, I've reached out to friends of the show and sort of, and like old Crispy Biscuit and the likes of Dash and asking the questions. I'm like, does this normally happen around Mania? Is this Mania hype? They're like,
it's the
no,
first
this
time.
This is not common practice.
This is all new and exciting, and I am living for every moment of it.
Next, we get our good friends, the Iconics.
Iconic!
They come out to the ring to talk about ahead of their match.
You mean they come out to squawk at us for 2 minutes?
That they did.
So
they stood there and squawked at us for a little while. Talked about, sort of broke down the other competitors in their 8-woman tag match. So just ripping them all apart. So Nia Jax Tamina went there to help us on yesterday at Raw. It's bullshit. We've beaten Natalia. We've beaten Sasha and Bayley before. It's not a concern. Beth Phoenix, she's fucking old. Natalia is there.
Yep, we've beaten Nia and Tamina.
Yeah, so they're sort of coming out strong. Actually,
they've made valid
and
points.
they've got a good point, because let's think about this, right? Let's think about the match as it is. The only really, I believe personally, the only way it's going to go, it's like either the belts retain or they go to the Iconics.
And the Iconics are getting pushed hard, so I'm really sort of hoping that because we're seeing more of them, we may see even more of them.
Yeah.
I did write in my notes, I love these galahs. So
yeah. And it's like, because Beth's not getting a belt.
No, definitely not.
So that puts her and Natalia out.
Yes.
This is the fifth time that Nia and Tamina have had a go, and they're not seem to be doing strong.
They're taking the fall.
They are just there.
They are literally just there.
It feels like that they are just there.
It'll be one of those, like, they get knocked out over the top rope of the ring and we don't see them for the rest of the match.
Either that, or what is a more common, what is a more potential possible outcome here? Not common. Potential outcome here is that the Iconics get a pin on one of the Smalls.
Yeah, that's
Therefore,
true.
Sasha and Bayley kind of don't lose it. Now both Peyton and Billie Kay did start up in NXT as well, so maybe they'll head down to NXT for some matches. Maybe we'll get a sort of Boston Hug versus Iconics at the next pay-per-view sort of thing. That seems like a better scenario for me. If we're following, if we're looking at potential breadcrumbs here, that's where I would like to see it go personally.
Definitely.
And it would be cool for Iconics to get a shot, because they are the jesters of WWE.
They're definitely
and it would be fun for them to have it for, even if it's a month.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a very small window of time. Yeah. It's in, like, the same as Kofi as an example, right? Even if Kofi does happen to win, he gets the belt for a month and then he gives it to, loses it to somebody else.
And he goes down in history with it.
And like he has his moment, and like that's all he needs. He just needs the moment. Iconics, they just need that moment. After they get it, I don't give a fuck. So just give it to them, laugh. We'll all have a good time. Yeah. We'll celebrate here in Australia. Yeah. Because Peyton herself did compete in MCW here in Melbourne. Yeah. So for like in that sense,
do it for us Aussies.
Yeah, like in that sense, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Give them a fair shake of the sauce bottle. Anyway, shortly after this, we do see that newest inductee of the Hall of Fame is Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, so all the final, that's everyone at this point that's being inducted. Yes. We've got, was it Tori Wilson?
Tori Wilson,
Harlem Heat, DX, including China. X-Pac, and fucking everyone. Yeah. But yeah, Honky Tonk Man, and then old the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, so beautiful, exciting.
Interesting collection of people.
Definitely an interesting collection of people.
I'm just excited.
And that lady that works behind the scenes.
Yes, of course.
I think her name was maybe Susan or something like that.
Yeah, get off, Suze.
Yeah. All right, so after that, we have The Miz come out. He is going to be in a match, but he does have a few things to say beforehand. That's
true. The Miz does come out to sort of talk about, once again, his actions going into this, and does a nice little sneaky promo for Miz and Mrs. Talk about the importance of family, and that's what's sort of helping him at this moment in time. Yeah. He's got his wife, he's got his daughter, and then, of course, his dad as well. So he made a very clear effort to talk about how proud he is of his wife and his daughter, which is the big circle here, the big issue that was the center point of what his issue with his dad was.
Notice his family is all M's. He got his daughter's an M, Mr. Miz for dad. It's the M family, very cute. I like it. They got a trend going there.
That's true. Then we got confirmation that it is a 1-on-3 handicap match against Sanity. So I guess where is Sanity on Twitter worked enough for him to get a balls ass match on fucking SmackDown.
Shane O'Mac comes out, decides he wants a close up of this match and how it's going to happen. Sort of Miz starts dominating. Miz is pissed, because Shane comes out and is like, "Oh, I just wanted to show you one thing. My screensaver. I thought you'd really appreciate this picture." And it's like, it's me holding Mr. Potato Face. And I was like, "Oh, harsh."
Oh, baked potato Miz.
Yeah, Miz is just fuming. So he's dominating for most of the match, and Shane's like, "Oh, hey. By the way, forgot to mention." This match is also false count anyway. And Miz is like, well, damn. So, yeah. There's Sanity gets a little bit of an upper hand, and Miz just plows through all of them, out into the crowd, throwing them into things. They end up backstage at the trucks, and Miz ends up wheeling this thing into Eric Young's face, and then he gets the pin on Eric Young outside, and he's just fuming, and Shane O'Mac's sitting in a limo watching it happen right in front of him. He just winds the window up and drives away. Very, very his dad, who the Miz does say is a bitch. Yeah, because he says you've got a father, so that makes you a son of a bitch. Ooh, daddy burn. And as this is happening, we hear a cop car roll up. Whew, 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 whew. And the man gets out.
So the man who's been released makes a way into the ring. So what do you think of of Miz vs. Sanity?
That was really cool. I loved, once I was a bit like, oh, this is a bit of a filler match. And then once it was made a Falls Count Anywhere, I was like, Miz is angry, this is going to be great. And Miz is a phenomenal competitor. He has come a long way in the years that I've watched him as a wrestler, and I am he is at his peak right now. He is on fire, he is fired up, he is ready to go. And I was like, oh, Shane, you dead. You are DONE done. Goodbye, say goodnight at WrestleMania. I don't care what you jump off, Miz is just going to destroy you.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah. What do you think?
It was fine. It was all right. I got no major complaints. I like Killian Dane.
Actually, I have a complaint.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sanity's entrance, the camera.
A lot of hard zooms
made me motion sick.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest complaint. I got a bit sick watching Sanity.
I like Killian Dane. I think he's great. When I've watched a lot of him on old NXTs, he was really an awesome competitor, as were all of Sanity actually. The original War Games, that was one that really brought them to my attention. And I do sort of agree with the whole where's sanity. I'm like, well, yeah, they were called up and they really didn't do anything since. They've been quiet and they've
the most we've seen of them is Nikki Cross.
Yeah, well, even Nikki Cross is oddly distancing herself, like not whether or not be on purpose, but saying that Nikki Cross has also been very quiet as well. So it's this weird sort of setup. So I'm glad that happened. And similar to yourself, when it was in the ring, I'm like, meh. And then Falls came around, I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
And once that's got that spillage out, it was good. It makes me actually really quite excited for Miz v Shane at Mania.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be good.
Very, very good. Sorry, I just swallowing down some spits. But yeah, so Becky does pull up in a cop car, wanders out, makes way to the ring. We get Corey Graves in the ring to explain to everyone that all women have been released after being arrested and taken to the Baltimore Police Station. They didn't mention anything about particular charges or anything like that.
No, it doesn't look like any charges have been laid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Becky jumps in the ring, grabs the microphone off Corey Graves, and just does it.
Now, we should mention Corey looking very different today, rocking a nice plaid look suit. He's got a bit of speed, and not quite. He normally has like stubbly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's normally got a.
He's actually got a proper beard. Now the hair's a bit longer than usual.
Yeah.
You're a big Corey Graves fan and doing
I prefer him with the 5 o'clock shadow, a bit shorter. He looks.
Yeah, it looks less menacing.
Yeah, he looks a lot less menacing.
I can tell you like a
soft.
I can tell you like a menacing face.
Yeah, I just want to pet him now. Like it's just like, oh, you're so cuddly. Like,
you're still banging, but
he's still banging, but it's just like he's kind of banging where you just lay in bed and pet their facial hair, not go to town on them.
You can still go to town on them, but like afterwards.
You caress him. You don't be like, get out of my house.
So I think I think I'm gonna get some weird thoughts here, but like Randy seems like he like just gives no fucks.
Yeah, Randy will be like, as soon as he's done his clothes are on and he's out.
He's like, and he's gone. Like, he just picks you up and pushes you out.
He's out.
Yeah. Gives you that, like, you walk in the room, he gives you that weird side flip thing,
Yeah, out the door.
And then you're out. Yeah. No time for you.
Whereas Corey Graves is going to stick around and make you breakfast.
I know, ask Mel.
Yeah, Corey can make me breakfast. Anyway, Becky jumps up on the announce table. And she's like, look, no offense to you, Corey Graves, but I don't address you, I address the people. And she's wearing her mugshot t-shirt, and she's like, well, this aged well, didn't it? And everybody's like, Becky. So good. So she goes in to talk about, obviously, it's going to be Becky Lynch making history with Charlotte and Ronda as the main event of WrestleMania.
So she talked about how times have changed. Like from a year ago, there were Becky and Charlotte were the best of friends at this time. Charlotte was just about to make her Mania debut. Like because we saw her first at Rumble last year. Walked up, did the sign, bounced out. This is her first sort of big match, which was against with Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. One of the highlight matches.
I do remember that.
And then Becky's alluding like all this. I've
set all this.
It was almost She was like, it's almost like Becky, Ronda and Charlotte. They were already a year out being planned for this main event. But I changed that. I changed that all in one moment at SummerSlam where I beat the piss out of Charlotte. I smacked
that smirk off her face or that smug look off Charlotte's face. And
that is true. In that exact moment where there was, that was supposed to be Becky's heel moment. Instead, it spanned to this anti-hero that was adopted by the people, myself included, and moved to this new place where she is also the main event. She is the hottest like superstar in WWE right, in potential wrestling right now.
She's phenomenal.
She has we talked about she's earned her place. She's earned her shot.
She really has. She's crawled her way from the bottom to this. She's implemented herself in this, and she doesn't lie when she says she's played Ronda like a fiddle. Like she has, in the best way possible, manipulated herself into this situation, and damn, is it good. All power to her. She's pulling old school Triple H's, like when he weaseled his way into being who he is today by forcefully marrying Stephanie McMahon, which had never happened. He drugged and took her to a little drive-through wedding chapel in Vegas. It never happened today, but Triple H did everything he did, and Becky is very much like the new age.
She didn't marry anyone though.
No, she doesn't need to. She's the man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a phenomenal speech. I felt her power in it. I felt her passion for this. And I'm pretty sure she's walking out with 2 belts.
Yeah, I agree. Goddamn hope so. Every part of me wants her to win out with 2 belts.
Yep, she's walking out with 2 belts.
Now we'll get into one of the weirdest fucking things we've ever seen. An 18-person tag match.
Now, I have everybody in this.
Right.
So, it is Nikki Cross, Asuka, Naomi, Carmella, the Hardy Brothers, Matt and Jeff, Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker, and R-Truth versus Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Lana, Zelina Vega, Andrade, EC3, Carl Anderson, Shelton Benjamin, and Luke Gallows. That's 18 people.
Apparently the largest ever mixed tag team match.
Mixed tag team match. Short and sweet. It starts off with Nikki Cross and Zelina Vega. Nikki Cross starts getting the upper hand, and Lacey Evans walks out. And I was like, is she in this too? Come on, let her fight. Oh, she's walking away. POS. So Zelina Vega gets the upper hand. There's a tag in somewhere. Somebody hits somebody. It ends up with R-Truth in the ring, and he laying the beat down on Andrade, and he gets Carmella in the ring, and they start counting. They're like, 1, 2, 3, dance break, and they start dancing, and Andrade breaks it up, and then it ends up in an all-out brawl, and everybody's brawling everybody, because all of these competitors are going to be in their respective divisions battle royales. So there's obviously the Mae Young battle royale and the Andre.
Mae Young, no, it's the not so fabulous Moolah.
Oh, Moolah.
Yeah, it's just the
I
women's
always get Moolah and Mae mixed up.
So it is, yes, as we said, it's the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the not so fabulous Moolah.
Yeah. So everybody's throwing everybody in and over the ring. Like, I think one of the funniest things I did see was when Naomi does that butt hip thing to a really tall Luke Gallows.
Right in the face.
Yeah,
too.
right in the face. She gets him height. I was like, damn. But everybody's throwing everybody out, and it ends up being EC3, Asuka, and Jeff Hardy. And obviously Jeff Hardy and Asuka team up to get rid of EC3. And they have a little celebratory hug, and Asuka's like, haha, bye! And she throws Jeff over the top rope. And then she's like,
does a little dancey thing.
Doing a little dancing to her music. And I was like, I fucking love you, Asuka. I love her. That was just the pinnacle of that whole clusterfuck of whatever that was. Don't get me wrong, it was great. I was like, yeah, everybody bash everybody. But at the same time, I was like, I love Asuka. She's going to win that battle royale for the women's. She just capitalized.
Well, she's already won a battle. She won the Rumble last year. We know she can
do it.
Out.
I absolutely love it. She's phenomenal, and that was just her.
An icing on a cake.
Yeah, it was great. I love her so much.
Next, we move into a match between Samoa Joe and the now renamed Ali, previously known as Mustafa Ali.
I do want to mention before this we get another cut to the New Day, and for some reason they've got beautiful new Kofi t-shirts
against all odds.
Big E's cut out a big old square right where his titties sit, and all you can see is his chest in Kofi's face, and I was like, big boobies.
I'm digging it.
It was great. I just had to give that a special mention. That was the highlight of my night entirely. Yeah. Big E's boobies, that's all I need. Anyway, we do get into the newly renamed Ali versus Samoa Joe.
What do you think of the rename from Mustafa Ali to Ali?
I hate it. Mm-hmm. I hate it. It takes away a lot of who Mustafa is. His first name, it is a lot of who he is as a person. His background, it shows, it's taking Andrade's surname out as well. It takes away an aspect of them. Mm-hmm. And I hate that. I understand it's long, but...
It's not, though.
It's not that bad, compared to your Rey Mysterios and your, it's not that bad. Just leave his full name. Let him be. Credit to him, he was wearing PopC purple.
He was, thank you very much. We know you watch.
Thank you.
Love you.
Yeah.
For us, you're still Mustafa Ali.
You are, will always be.
Look, for me personally, I think it comes in two places. I
suppose.
It's... The concern is, in the past, they have used the name Mustafa for not so nicely racial motivated characters.
That's true.
Like the Iron Sheik, and I think Mustafa was part of that as well. And I think that's probably one of the big hiccups there. And plus, Ali, as the name itself, is very reminiscent of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Sort of that same strong competitor.
Yeah, thinking in the vein of, obviously, Kofi's got a very short name. Kofi chants are easy to get out. Ali might be a bit easier as well, just Ali chants. Obviously he's a very, very powerful competitor, and he is, very popular. So when people are chanting his name, it's just, it resonates a bit better.
It does. It certainly does. And I don't like the idea that they've dropped it just to make it a chant easier or to fit, or to add a concern of a not so American friendly racial name.
Yeah, like be more progressive. Let people keep their identity.
Yeah, but like I said, it's I don't. We've made some really high assumptions there that it's a racial thing. It may be. It may not be. But I'm about it. But saying that we adapted to Andrade pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly.
But the big difference is Andrade, like the name Andrade, especially how
Android
or Android.
Android, as we called him last night.
So like, for that, like it's still there's a lot of his character. There's a lot of his legacy, his ethnicity within the name Andrade. So we're not losing anything by dropping the Cien Almas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But when Mustafa Ali drops to Ali, unless you want Ali Baba, like
Prince Ali, handsome is he, Ali Baba.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali, fabulous he.
I love it. I love the songs we've been making about Mustafa.
So it's a bit of a bummer, but yeah, I'll let you run into this one because you're a big Joe fan.
So I am a huge Joe fan. So. I did also note down Mustafa, like just Ali now. Get the fuck out. Anyway, as Ali's entering, we do have to make a special note. Some dude just runs in front of the camera.
Some crew who is now unemployed, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's lost his job, definitely. That was hilarious.
We should also note that Ali is not wearing his Disco Bane face anymore.
No, he didn't have his mask on. That was a bit disappointing. So this sort of match, obviously Ali does have the speed advantage over Joe. Joe does have that very slow, very
once again, a match we've seen before.
Yeah, match we've seen before. Mustafa Ali, for the most part, like, is in control of the match. Like, Joe gets a few good hits in, but Mustafa sort of comes back for the most part. But yeah, it results in Joe getting his old coquina clutch and Ali fully just passes out.
If anything, this just really solidifies what was one of the discussion points at the start with Randy. Like with Joe has his one move, and that one move is incredibly successful.
Exactly
so we cannot dismiss that one move.
Exactly it. It is one of those things though I'm noticing with Joe is his emotions are getting in the way. So throughout the match, as he was getting sort of, I guess, played as a fool, and he was getting, Ali was getting the upper hand, you do see his face change and his eyes get real angry. He gets real crazy eyes. He gets red. He gets like a nasty smirk on his face, and he just completely flips and turns into this like unstoppable machine that will just ruin anybody in his path. Which I love about Joe because it's always in-ring emotion. It's like, sure, if he loses a match, he'll like flip out at somebody, which is like, pull your head in. But a lot of it does come out in matches when he is getting a bit dominated. He channels that anger to get it out. So yeah, he did obviously gets a bit crazy eyes. He gets the win with the coquina clutch, fully passing Ali out. I've seen it before.
Yeah, and that's the real downside here. We've seen this before, and it has been a while. Ali has been out injured, so like he's came back at I don't know, a couple of shows. I think was it a house show, SmackDown? Yeah. It was a televised show. It wasn't a pay per view. But like he did make an appearance. He did come back and was very happy to see. And I liked that it was there. But it was all good. But once again, it's a bit of a bummer we've said before. Next we get the WWE Championship match contract signing. So Daniel Bryan and Rowan do enter first, make their way to the little ring.
Michael Cole is waiting.
Yeah, Michael Cole's waiting. They're ready to go. The New Day then pop and come in as well. So while before anyone can say anything, the chants have started. It's going hard. Kofi's sitting down there, poker face. Big E and Xavier dance in the background.
Yeah, dancing the entire time, mind you. Every time, so Daniel Bryan steals the microphone, says, "Don't worry about this, Cole. I'll take it from here." Starts talking about I've been in your position. I've been there. I've seen how these people react. I know how it feels when they chant for you. I know how that feels.
These yes chants are similar to your Kofi chants. Yeah,
exactly.
It's history repeating itself.
Exactly. History repeating itself. Kofi's got this look on his face, and I'm like, oh, is Daniel setting him up for a heel turn? He's looking like, I know where this is going type thing. And I was like, oh, shit. Because, Daniel was throwing out some hard truths. He's like, let me educate you people. And then they start chanting Kofi. And, the going wild, and he's just like, shut up while I try and educate you. And they're all like, boo.
We should also mention, before he even does this big educating, he just signs straight away.
Yeah, he signs straight away and then just yanks the book out so he can start talking. Yeah, straight away signs it. He's like, I know you're going to sign this. I know you're coming to Mania. But, you know, you're blindsided by these people. Like, they don't feed you. You feed them and all this other stuff. So, yeah, the New Day are dancing in the background the entire time, which I couldn't help but laugh because it gets weirder and weirder on Big E's part. Big E's fucking brilliant. Absolutely love him. Eventually, like, Kofi gets sick of Daniel Bryan's talking and just yanks the book out of his hand and he grabs his microphone and he's like, you came here and in 2 years you had this title.
So the idea of, like, you know, you claim that we're similar, but you got your championship shot within 2 years of being here.
I've been waiting 11. He's like, you're right. Like, he's like, you know nothing about me. We have nothing in common, but you're right about one thing. He's like, you know how this feels. He's like, but you know what happens next when these people feed me like this. Like, you know what happens next, and that's me beating you. And he, like, signs a paper, and I thought he was going to rip it in half. He was signing so aggressively.
Fucking throws it at Michael Cole.
Throws it at Michael Cole. My elbow just hit the table. I'm making all the smashes today. It's just New Day dancing in the background. Throughout the whole thing, people are chanting, you deserve it, and Kofi Mania, and everybody's going wild. The house explodes for Kofi. Yeah. And Daniel Bryan looks visibly shook after Kofi flipped. Like, he was just like, oh, damn. He was shook. He's got some pretty blue eyes. Anyway, that's besides the point. I'm
very, like you said, I'm very keen after this match. So once again, as I still say, even if Kofi has it for a month, until the next pay-per-view, I'm cool with that.
Exactly it. But yeah, it definitely was, seeing how passionate and powerful Kofi is right now. It really pumped me up for this match. Like, this is going to be something special.
So that brings us to the end of the SmackDown. And what did you think overall for this episode of SmackDown?
I feel like SmackDown was a bit more collected than Raw this week. There was definitely, it had a bit of flow to it. I'd probably give it 1 Kurt Angle. Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. I'd give it a 1 as well, but comparatively to Raw, which got a 1 on 2 awesome segments, this is a 1 on a very steady, consistent thing. It didn't have the same pop that Raw did, and that's understandable because they showed those clips from Raw 18 times. So, like, they know what their big push was. They know what their big sell was from Raw. So they're not going to go too hard and put something just as huge. Because I noticed there was no shenanigans with the contract signing. No. Randy and in terms of what was set up for Mania, there was nothing massive here. It was just laying down what you already knew. And it's kind of cool that way. Yeah. So I agree. It is very much a 1. So let us know what you think in those comments below as well on that Discord channel and all the other links. Now, before we jump into our WrestleMania predictions, we do have one thing that we have to do. We have to head to the dirt sheet. Our good friend Dash sends us some information for his segment, Dishing the Dirt with Dirt Sheet Dash. For those who don't know, Dash is a man of many talents, is a man of many sources, and he reaches out to the people he knows in the WWE and fills us with all the information that he believes that you need to know about.
Thank you, Dash.
Got a handful of things. A couple of things today. Not a very big one. Because Mania is very tight, very hush hush.
Yeah,
around
to
Mania
the point
right
where
now.
I was mentioning. Actually, no. I'll leave that because it comes up in the. Our predictions on 2K19.
So kicking things off, Mysterio may miss Mania. Rey Mysterio wrote the following on Instagram regarding reports that he is injured. I suffered an injury on my right ankle this past Monday night on Raw against @Baron Corbin WWE, praying, !, to be ready for Mania this Sunday. Please. Ricochet responded to Mysterio with the following message. Man, sorry to hear, but if anyone can make a comeback and be good for Mania this Sunday, it's you.
I agree, King Ricochet.
The interesting part here is we do wonder if we put our speculation hats on, if for any reason that Rey can't perform, who takes place? This whole time they've been building up this, the R-Truth angle with the John Cena stuff going on there. John Cena is confirmed to be there. No match at the moment. And if for any reason they do happen to go down that line and Baron Corbin does take on Kurt Angle, John Cena doesn't get involved there.
Dominic.
That's how we get.
Ray's son will take his place.
Ray comes in, can't finish it. Dominic comes in. Holy fuck.
Yeah, because I think it was last week.
There.
Yeah, because it made me think, like, just suddenly, because last week, like, Ray was getting interviewed and he's like, Dominic, do you want to take this? That really sets it up for a, hey, Dominic, do you want to take this match?
Imagine your
third generation superstar. He's going to make his debut sometime.
That's true. I like that. I like that one.
I could see. I mean, Dominic's got the size on his hand. Like, dude's tall as shit. How did Ray produce that?
Yeah, I am questioning those paternity papers.
I think Eddie Guerrero may be your puppy.
He may really be his puppy, yeah. Next up, number 2. According to Dave Meltzer, Becky Lynch, quote, is being pushed as the female face of the company, end quote, and expected to capture both the Raw and the SmackDown women's titles at WrestleMania 35.
Tell us something we don't know.
It appears that Ronda Rousey's decision to take a hiatus from WWE is not yet set in stone. Lynch is expected to be pushed strongly following WrestleMania, but it's not being ruled out that Rousey or even Charlotte Flair could end up winning at the big show. Quote, McMahon could change his mind if Rousey decides to stay, although if that's the case, it would probably lead to Lynch beating Rousey in a singles match down the line.
Exciting. Interesting.
This is an interesting setup here, mostly because if Becky doesn't win, people are going to die. It's going to be a fucking riot.
Yeah, there's literally going to be a riot.
Yeah.
It's going to be a riot squad, not Sarah, Liv, and Ruby.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, if Ronda is bouncing out, my theory still is that she won't take the pin. Charlotte will take the pin.
Yeah.
Becky will win, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah. That's definitely.
Yeah, and then this still leads to the moment of the 4 horsemen, because there's no way that Charlotte's going to then give Becky a belt. It's not going to happen.
Yep, that's very true.
Interesting. And finally, AEW has closed a deal with TNT TV channel.
Yes.
The TED network, whatever. News regarding announcers and commentary. It has been confirmed that the commentators are as follows: Excalibur, Alex Marvez, and Jim Ross.
Hey, Jim Ross.
In ring is Justin Roberts. Backstage is Alicia Atout. JR is a WWE Hall of Famer announcer and was recently touted to the AEW's biggest get from WWE thus far. While former WWE ring announcer Justin Roberts worked All In last year, which is the pay-per-view, the big bunch of indies. Lost my spot. The Bucks and with the Bucks and Cody, newcomer Alicia Atout will be a backstage correspondent for AEW from her huge following on her now acclaimed wrestling interviews across YouTube.
Amazing.
I like they've brought up some no-namers there. It's very, very, well, not no-namers, like lower names, like
lesser
not
known,
new to the scene in terms of the actual scene. But of course, having JR is going to be huge.
Huge, definitely.
I do think JR's kind of past his prime as well, but I think that's enough of a pull to bring people in.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
And if WWE has been beating JR down in terms of not feeling the motivation, feeling the love, as I got my way through that sentence.
Yeah.
This might reinvigorate him in a way to get old JR out of him, get something very cool, something rad to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely it's obviously AEW is going to be more focused around the wrestling, like and less obviously like I guess theatric. Yeah,
the showmanship will be there.
Yeah, there'll still be entertainment, but it'll be more wrestling entertainment, not sports entertainment. Yeah. So I do believe that that's where Jim thrives. I think when he's actually commentating something that is like so strong in the athleticism,
like more technically,
technically full on. I think he thrives best when he's more calling the match as it's happening instead of talking in between the match about what's going on at WrestleMania and stuff like that. He can focus on what's in front of him as opposed to 20 other things that are being thrown in front of him at the same time.
I agree.
So I think having that main focus is going to be huge for him.
I agree.
Especially in his old
It's very cool. We are very quickly approaching Double or Nothing with AEW, and we'll be sure to watch that because that seems interesting as all shit.
Definitely.
And we'll make sure we talk about that. Now, what we'll do very quickly is let us know what you think of Dash's delivered dirt here.
Do you have any dirt for us?
Let's jump over here first. Let's take a quick look. So, this week we did our prediction streams and we did something a little bit different. We did the Wrestlemania, of course. We also did NXT Takeover. Now, although you yourself don't know a lot about the NXT wrestlers at the moment, I'm going to run through the card and let you know what 2K19 predicted and how I think it's going to go down.
Awesome.
WWE UK Championship, which was Pete Dunne, who's the current champion, versus Walter. We did not run this through 2K19. However, for me, this varies on two things. If Pete Dunne is moving to the main roster as per Superstar Shakeup, he's losing the belt. So if he loses the belt, that's what we know what's happening.
Yes.
If he retains, then he's hanging out. Simple as that.
Yes.
NXT Tag Team Championship, War Raiders, who are the current champions, versus Alistair and Alistair Black and Ricochet. The 2K19 did predict that Alistair Black and Ricochet would take those belts. However, personally, I believe that they will lose the belts here to go and take the SmackDown belts. The next one is a tough one for me personally. NXT North American Champion Velveteen Dream versus who's the current champion versus Matt Riddle. As of right now, Matt Riddle is undefeated, and he's been a very mad and huge, strong force. Part of me thinks that this match was supposed to be a different setup. So there's a weird blurry line here of how it's meant to go. I do like Velveteen Dream as a competitor. I think he's absolutely brilliant. So I would like for him to keep the belt, but having Matt Riddle's so strong right now and so over. I think we've seen Velveteen Dream lose before. We haven't seen Matt Riddle. I think it'd be perfectly understandable to keep that going. Move it over to Matt and just keep him looking fucking awesome. NXT Women's Championship is a fatal 4-way with Shayna Baszler, who is the current champion, against Kairi Sane and Kairi Sane versus Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair. WWE 2. Velveteen Dream retains according to 2K19. Should clarify. For 2K19, it predicts that Bianca Belair will take the belt.
Interesting.
I strongly disagree with. I think if anyone, it'll be either Kairi or Io Shirai. My bet's on Kairi. Kairi's been a belt holder before. For that reason, she may not want to take it at the moment. I don't know. I'm gonna put my money down on Kairi for that one.
I definitely think Kairi or Io.
I
know something.
Yes. And then finally the NXT Championship, which was Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. This is for the vacant title with Tommaso Ciampa stepping away due to injury. Now this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. According to 2K19, it is Johnny Gargano winning 2 falls in a row. So no fucking around. I personally think, I'm in this. I think it's
get it done, Gargano.
I think it's Gargano's.
Mr. Wrestling.
It is Gargano's. Johnny Wrestling has it. Let us know how you think NXT Takeover is going to go in those comments below. It's going to be a brilliant fucking pay-per-view.
I'll definitely have to watch.
I cannot wait. If you can find a way, watch it.
I think I will.
Sick. Now, kicking things off with our WrestleMania predictions, we do have the Battle Royals, the men's and the women's in the kickoff show. We didn't run them because at the time we weren't 100% locked on who the competitors were. I personally have no stake in this. I'm not even going to bother predicting it.
I figure Asuka's going to take out the women's Battle Royale. Like, obviously, with everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks.
It makes total sense in one sense that Asuka has shown that she's a strong force within a Rumble setting. And, having just lost the belt, she would have that fire under her to present that she is still worthy and still an awesome person.
And I think because of the blow up with the whole Michael Che and Colin Jost thing, I think Braun's going to be the winner of the men's or
at least be really strong.
Definitely.
And then there is also the Cruiserweight Championship, which is Buddy Murphy versus some dude. Buddy Murphy because he's Australian. I have no interest in 205. First on the main show is the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, which is the Usos versus Ricochet and Aleister Black versus The Bar and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. WWE 2K19 predicted that the Usos will retain.
Interesting. I would like to see Aleister Black and Ricochet take it. I think they have been undefeated so far. They are phenomenal athletes, and I would love to see them take some main roster titles.
I agree. However, it does disappoint me that this is not the Usos versus the Hardys as we wanted. I think we talked about that earlier. That is a real bummer for me. I wanted to see that in a ladder match because as of right now, there is no weapons, quote unquote, match. There's no tables, there's no chairs.
Yeah, it's very tame.
We want to see something with no holds barred, but even then, it's a disappointing.
Falls count anywhere.
There could have been something brilliant with the ladder match because it's been a while since we've seen Jeff Hardy do his thing. It's been kind of a real big sad.
I feel like they're saving it for one of the main sort of pay-per-views that utilizes that.
What do you mean that is the main pay-per-view? Or maybe Extreme Rules, perhaps?
Yeah, Extreme Rules.
Hell in a Cell's not till later in the year.
Something where they capitalise something that's, very Hardys.
Now, we have no confirmation as to the order of the pay-per-views. This is how we did them on the night yesterday. So, this is the farewell match for Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. WWE 2K19 predicts that Kurt Angle will get the win after assistance and interruption from Tatanka. That was fucking weird.
Yeah, that was really weird. I don't know what happened there, but I was like, okay. Kurt wins. That's all that matters.
Yep. That's fine. I'm in the same boat. I like to think Kurt Angle will get the win.
Yeah, definitely.
I am still pretty confident that Baron will get swapped out.
For John Cena.
I
definitely think that's going to happen. Yeah. I feel like, whether there's an attack backstage or something like that, or Baron just decides not to show up. I think it just makes sense to have John Cena.
It seems a better option. Personally, a better option.
Yeah. And professionally, their history goes way back.
Yeah, next is the Women's Tag Team Championship, as we mentioned. Sasha Banks versus Bayley, who are the current champions, versus Beth Phoenix, Natalya, Nia Jax, Tamina, and the Iconics. 2K19 correctly predicted that the Iconics will win. You know what? I'm putting my money on it.
Yeah. Do it.
Just for funsies. I'm putting the money on the Iconics.
I hope they do.
United States Championship, Samoa Joe, who's the current champ, versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio wins.
Yay! Rey Mysterio. Yeah, I would love... It's the only belt he hasn't held. So it's kind of like a given for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's Samoa Joe. Like, he'll decimate little Rey. So I'm torn because I do love Joe having the belt. He has done heaps with it in such a short time. But I do think, it's going to be one of those Rey holds it and then he may not be with us for much longer as a superstar.
Yeah.
He'll pass his reins on to Dominic and...
That's true. He's old. He's quite beat up too.
Yeah.
Next up was the Intercontinental Championship with Bobby Lashley, who's the current champ, with Finn Balor as the Demon King. The WWE 2K19 correctly predicted that Finn Balor will win.
Yeah.
Total.
Done.
Like unquestionable right there.
Yeah.
Next up was AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Orton gets the win.
Yeah, buddy.
Dash, his prediction is for AJ Styles to take the win. 2K19 did have Randy do a brilliant RKO.
Yeah.
So there's no questions there for me.
Yeah. I want to see Randy take it just because...
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I want Randy to have that one. I'm pretty cool with it. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. 2K19 predicted that Drew McIntyre will get the win from a Claymore kick that actually blows out.
Yeah, full causes bleeding.
Face. I disagree. I think Roman Reigns will win.
I think Roman Reigns will win. I think it's his big comeback match as a singles competitor. I don't think he's gonna lose it. And
it gives Drew reason to keep pushing. And
yes.
Because I do think there will be a Universal Championship match at some point in 2019 of Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. And it will happen and it will be awesome.
For sure.
Next up is the no holds barred match between Triple H and Batista. According to WWE 2K19, Triple H does come out the victor.
Oh, yeah,
although Batista does get assistance from Chris Jericho from 2006, and Triple H gets Cesaro.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to say earlier. Obviously, Chris Jericho interrupting. There was some news heading on weird. About, like, obviously, AEW, WWE taking each other's things. I did listen to an interview where on Chris Jericho's podcast where he was saying he tried to get superstars on his show to promote WrestleMania for the WWE, and they were like, no, because your contract with AEW, that's, it's not good for business. And he was like, okay, like they have no problem with Chris Jericho. Obviously, he's a huge part of the WWE. But they were just like, oh, look, no. you can't have any of the superstars. Like, we don't want you as an AEW superstar to be promoting.
Well, AEW are actively poaching some of their competitors.
Exactly.
So I understand that from a business perspective, it makes total sense to restrict that. Although Chris Jericho isn't involved in the running of AEW, he's just a competitor. Yes. He's not an executive producer or anything like Cody, executive producer, or like a director or anything like Cody is, like the Bucks are, like Kenny Omega is. But there is that still strong connection there, and Jericho is, I think, enough of a pull for people to be like, yeah, maybe I will come across. Yeah. But yeah, so that's an interesting match.
Interrupted. So
I still personally think Batista's going to win.
I definitely think Batista's going to win as well,
because that'll give Triple H
more
an excuse to go behind the scenes.
Yeah, Vince is obviously looking a bit worse for wear. It is looking like at some point he's going to need to step back from being there so consistently.
And Triple H is also looking worse for it too.
Yeah, but I feel like it's definitely Triple H's time to, like you said last week, go from COO to CEO.
And on top of that, with this being sort of Batista's potential last match as well, it makes sense for both of them to go out in the same time. Yeah. Next up was the WWE Championship with Daniel Bryan, who's the current champion, versus Kofi Kingston. 2K19 says Daniel Bryan retains.
No.
No, Kofi's getting the win.
No, Kofi is way too over to lose.
Yeah, Kofi's taking that.
He is. It's Kofi Mania. It is Kofi's show. And he is going to take that belt.
Yeah, unquestionable. Next, the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar, who's the current champ, versus Seth Rollins. 2K19 did predict that Brock Lesnar takes the belt home.
Just because there's obviously been speculation floating around that Brock does want to go back to UFC. I don't think he'll retain it.
It depends for me.
I think Seth is going to be the underdog. He is going to burn it down, and he's going to take that title.
I am instantly.
And we're going to see Seth versus Roman.
I'm instantly suspicious of all three of the key belts here having face wins. Doesn't happen often. So for that reason, one of them have to lose, and I think it's Seth.
You think?
I think Seth will lose. I think Brock may retain, and then we'll have Roman step in and take it off him instead.
I like that.
That's probably the only way I'm thinking about it.
I do like that.
Although saying that, though, I personally want Seth to win, of course. But it wouldn't surprise me if that's the way.
I mean, if Finn hasn't won, if whoever else hasn't won.
Yeah.
Chances are slim.
Final match of the night, the main event. The winner takes all women's championship match. Ronda Rousey, who is the current Raw women's champion, versus Charlotte Flair, who is the current SmackDown champion, against Becky Lynch. 2K19 predicted that Becky Lynch will take the belt.
Agreed.
I couldn't agree more. The belts,
plural,
I should say. Plural. And I couldn't agree more.
100%. I would love to see as Becky called it, the double champion.
Double champ?
The double champ. I definitely think I can see Becky with two belts high above her head.
Unquestionable.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But at the same time, like, obviously we have spoken quite a bit about the 4 horsewomen. I think maybe it'll be a case of Ronda retaining, Becky eventually taking Ronda's belt, and then we see that.
If anything, I see Becky keeping the Raw belt. We've discussed things before. I think Becky will keep the Raw championship, and the SmackDown will eventually end up on Charlotte. So that way they'll keep them separate. They'll keep them on separate brands, because we've seen a lot of their storylines together at this point. It's going to become old news real fast. So having them separated, that'll give Charlotte a chance to face some new components, bringing new women up. That also brings, because by the way they've been pushing Lacey Evans, I imagine she's going to stay on Raw, and because they do believe that to be the A show, and they'll put her up against Becky.
Well, yeah, she isn't set anyway yet, so who knows what the shake-up will bring.
That's my theory.
It'll place her.
But let us know what your predictions are for WrestleMania 35. It does air at 9 a.m. Australian time, Monday morning. Get excited. Be sure to let us know. How are you watching WrestleMania? I'm watching it at my house.
Are you going to the cinemas? Are you doing the Gold
Class
experience?
Going to Village Cinemas. Got the high-end experience.
I wish I was.
We have recently just set up a projector at work.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's an option. But I rotate the day off, so I'm gonna come here. Watch it at home. The big TV, big sound system. It's gonna be awesome. That brings us to the end of the show. This has been the Young and the Rest of the Pop Culture WWE podcast. Listen to it every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, head to facebook.com/thepopculturist, the Discord channel
/group
/popculturist. Also, Discord channel and other assorted links are in the description below if you want to reach out to us in any capacity. You can also go to the let me try that again. Ensure the love of the pop culture is on your body. Thepopculturist.com/shopping. Buy shirts like this, books like this, phone cases like this, other assorted shit with our logos and assorted branded thingies on it. We also are on twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where we do our monthly pay-per-view predictions. It may not always be as busy as the one with thanks to New Legacy Inc. But it was a brilliant time. So big thank you to like the 40-something people that also followed us on Twitch. A couple that came across to Instagram as well.
Awesome.
And a handful that came over to here at YouTube as well. So
phenomenal.
Hey,
hi guys.
big thanks to you. It's very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania.
Enjoy your WrestleMania weekend.
Bye.
And we'll see you then.